Welcome to GlowJob, the beauty podcast that's more than skin deep. We call it a job because real beauty takes work.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 2 of the GlowJob podcast. And today we're going to break down everything you need to know about celebrity and influencer beauty brands. All right. So to kick things off, Sasa, you're going to help us out. Let's just talk about celebrity brands that are doing it right.
Okay, let's do this as a timeline. So going back, way back when with the OG brands to now. And I'm going to start off with two of my favorites. Anastasia Soare of Anastasia Beverly Hills. So this brand has been around for a long time. She launched in 1997, and I actually know a lot about her story, and I find it so inspirational. She immigrated here in her 30s from Romania. Mm-hmm. She, was an esthetician, and she eventually launched her own salon, and she specialized in eyebrows. So when we're at SD school, we do skincare, but we also do hair removal. And she was the eyebrow queen back when eyebrows were not even a real thing yet.
And you're talking about waxing, plucking,
shaping. So she really honed the whole perfect eyebrow arch. Yes. So it's the eyebrow mapping. Mm-hmm. And she was really at the forefront of this because, again, eyebrows were not a thing. People were doing they were just a soft feature on your face.
Or they'd be the pencil brows from the 90s. But yeah, she coined the golden ratio of eyebrows.
Yep. And so she was at the forefront of that. Now, she launched in 1997. She didn't make it big until 2003. And then she really catapulted into the mainstream by probably the 2010s, because by then eyebrows were the marketable trend.
Right? Oh, totally. And when I think of Anastasia, and the first time I heard about it was through the Kardashians, because I think they were probably her number one client. I mean, there's so many of them, right? So she had at least 6 or however many there are, regular clients coming into her salon.
Totally. And speaking about that, her clients being the Kardashians, that's how she became the it girl, was that she was working with celebrities as her clients, and people trusted her. They went to her because all of their other celebrity friends said, hey, I got my eyebrows done by Anastasia. You should go to her too. And then they're like, wait a second, Anastasia, do you make products? Can we buy something from you? So she was pretty smart.
No, that totally makes sense. And I think trust is going to be a big theme throughout this whole episode today. But what else you got? What's your second one?
Second fave. Okay. Honest Co., Jessica Alba.
Yes.
Let's talk about this because, Anastasia is more of the industry professional, and we'll break this down a bit more later on. But Jessica, she's a celebrity.
Yeah. So for me, when I think of original OG Jessica Alba, she was the sexy dancing queen of the movie Honey.
Oh my God.
She was she still is gorgeous and sexy, but back then she was the it girl.
Exactly. And then I think she really became she really transformed, and I essentially launched Honest Beauty when she became a mom. Mm-hmm. And I find this really interesting. So, she has her first baby, and, she's trying to take care of it. And obviously it's the love of her life. And she's looking out into the market and realizes, oh my God, all these products that are marketed towards babies, babies have very sensitive skin, have really toxic ingredients, or are just things that you don't want to be putting on a baby, on a newborn. And so she identified a need early on. And I think that is the credit to her success, was she identified a gap in the market.
Definitely. And when we say success, let's do a little bit of numbers here.
It's kind of bonkers, honestly. So basically she IPO'd in 2021. Do you want to know how much the IPO price was?
Let's hear it.
Oh my God, it's insane. $1.4 billion.
That is amazing.
Yeah, good for her.
Good for her. I mean, she deserved it. She is so hardworking. Mm-hmm. And, when she started Honest Co, really, we saw so much less of her in the media, right? She really just stepped into this business founder role, and it's, at least from an outsider looking at it, it's been so natural for her.
100%.
Definitely.
And I really look up to her. I think she's embraced this founder entrepreneurial sort of spirit really well. I don't know. I mean, she just has a really great image still to this day.
Yeah. And it's amazing, again, how many celebrities do this so naturally, but a couple more brands that come to my mind. One, obviously Fenty with Rihanna.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I think what really made her brand successful is, again, identifying that gap in the market. And when she launched for her foundation shades in in 2017, she was the first person to do 40 shades of foundation. And a lot of people at the time were like, oh, that's overkill. Oh, that's too much. It's too expensive to make that many foundation shades.
Yes.
But people loved it. For the first time, they were able to shop in a store and find something that worked for them. So, I mean, she is just crushing it. And another celebrity brand, I know this one is like kind of heated of like how people feel about it, but the Kylie lip kit, Kylie Cosmetics,
Yes.
you remember that?
100%.
I mean, I think she did a great job of using her celebrity and really being authentic, to use the word authentic to describe a Kardashian, but authentic in the sense that like she was insecure about her lips. So she went and sold lip kits to make her lips look gigantic, really, and just made so much money off of them. Every single girl I knew back in the day had at least 2 of those kits.
100%. And also, like, what I love about her, and we're just talking about this, like you just said, because she has such thin lips naturally, she took a flaw. She took a flaw that people were giving her so much flack about and spun it on its head and was like, I'm going to make a shit ton of money now.
I know. And I know she was like getting all of this lip filler at the time.
Oh,
and
yeah.
lip filler was like way bigger then. And people were really overfilling their lips back in the day. But I'm almost convinced, just for like a PR branding perspective, that she was overfilling them to get free publicity. I swear to God. Because back then, like, Kylie Jenner back then was not who she is today. Like today, she's iconic. She is like a household name, secured her A-list status, whatever you want to say. But back then, she was just Kim Kardashian's little sister. And she needed to make a name for herself, and she totally did.
I believe it. Like that lip filler theory. Why not? Like, just pull any string you got.
Just me and all my crazy conspiracy theories over here.
I'm here for every conspiracy theory.
Oh, we love it. Okay, so those are like the OG ones.
Yes.
Let's talk about some, like, not new ones, but
recent.
More recent.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So one that comes to mind is Summer Fridays.
Love that.
Love them. Those girls do not quit. I mean, we literally were at BeautyCon and we saw their panel. They were polished, right?
True professionals, like through and through, but honestly, like they also love each other.
Yes.
You could see that. It was so sweet.
It's really sweet. It's both like a friendship and a business partnership, which honestly is really rare to see these days.
Right?
Right. There's always some drama usually.
I know, but I think like their friendship, like they just truly, you could see how much they respected each other.
Respect is key.
It's key. And they have such different lives. You know, Lauren Ireland, she's like, what, a mom of 3?
3.
And Mariana's like living this jet setter, single lady life. And they still they just make it work.
Yeah. And then, I mean, isn't there that crazy statistic that they sell the lip balm, the butter lip balms, one every 8 seconds? Like, what?
So, I mean, this podcast has been running now for a few minutes now. They've sold how many since we started this episode?
God. I don't even want to do that math. That's insane.
I know, but you know, people love it. I love it. I own one. And I think they do a good job of really just selling products that anybody can use. You know, you don't need a specific lip type, but it's also just like so aesthetic, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So
Okay.
they're selling their influencer backgrounds, like creating that aesthetic. That's what they're selling. And it's amazing.
Right. And so like we have to remember they were OG influencers. They were like YouTube girlies, right?
Yes.
And that was the first product launch they did, the jet lag mask. I think that speaks volumes to their expertise in this market of knowing what looks good on an Instagram square.
Yes.
That is the most Instagrammable product.
I mean, it's just so brilliant, but they really thought about it. Like, I wonder how many different shades of blue they looked at through like the Pantone color book to really just lock in on that like very iconic and recognizable shade that's like all of Summer Fridays.
100%. I mean, like we've even read before, they worked with that brand agency and like they really, really honed in, even on the name. The name itself evokes so many emotions. Right away, you get a vibe. And I love that.
Yes. So I think like they were probably the first super successful like influencer line.
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one that I want to jump into is Rare Beauty.
Yes.
Selena Gomez.
Love her.
Yeah, she's fantastic. I mean, they launched in, I think it was 2020. So like pandemic times, right? She instantly was a success. And also, quick note, she did a Sephora exclusive. So they were only launched in Sephora when they first came out. And I think still they're only, you can only purchase them at Sephora, which is pretty bold.
Or on their website.
Yep.
Yes. But I mean, I think that she just did it differently because she was a celebrity brand, but made everything so personal, just
Yes.
so her and authentic, and really giving people this kind of inside view into her life and kind of like what she goes through and what she deals with, right? Mental health.
Yep. That mental health piece is such a big part. Like she was really transparent talking about authenticity. She was very transparent in terms of like her dealing with her anxiety and her depression, all the unglamorous things that she was very open about and tied into Rare Beauty. Like Rare Beauty has made a commitment to donate $100 million to mental health causes.
That's insane. That
It's
is
incredible.
amazing. It really is. And you can see it like even through the products and the product names that she chooses. Like the names of her blushes are like joy, bliss, happy.
So cute.
Like, she's really kind of being true to herself and what she wants to put out there as a celebrity, like her gift to the rest of the people through her products.
Exactly.
So let's talk about some newer celebrity brands. The first one on my mind that's been everywhere these days is Rhode by Miss Hailey Bieber.
Oh, Hailey.
I mean, to me, what she does really well is just like the Summer Fridays girls, she really encapsulates that aesthetic, that this is who you will feel like and this is who you will look like if you buy this product. And what's interesting to me is that they are not sold in stores, that sometimes they have pop-ups, but people are really just buying based off of the marketing that you see and the ads that you see. And she did something so brilliant in my book. So if you look at her feed, you will see a lot of photos of food. You will see butter, you will see cinnamon rolls, you will see strawberries, cherries, etc. But it's those feelings that people have with food and that familiarity you have with food, of how butter feels, of how it, how it makes you feel, how it's like rich and creamy. And so it's like she literally pairs a photo of her buttercream with a slab of butter. And she does that with all of her products. And I think tying in food to kind of the marketing effect and the image and the aesthetic of what you're going to get as a consumer, to me, is just so genius. Because again, a tube of lip gloss is a tube of lip gloss is a tube of lip gloss. Like, you have to go beyond that.
It's so true. I mean, she really is evoking an emotion. Like just like how, scents evoke memories. I think that same way foods, because foods are not only a taste and a smell, but they're evoking a memory and that feeling. And also, sidebar, I mean, Hailey Bieber, what's it called? That Erewhon smoothie, that's already like in the ether. So it makes so much sense to me for her to kind of evoke that feeling.
Yes, absolutely. And another influencer brand that I really, really love is Seichu by Sarah Chung. She is kind of one of those like, not an OG YouTube influencer, but she started off on YouTube for sure and really has gained this community as like a beauty expert. But what I love about her brand and what she does so well is being innovative. And so you either got to focus on like the community, the product expertise, the industry knowledge, like something to set you aside. You can't just be like hawking products to the market. You have to be doing something different. So I don't know if she invented it, but her main product is this lip liner stain. So you paint it on your lips like you would a lip liner, and it looks terrifying. Like it's going to come out like this gorgeous like pinky nude, but it looks like very, very dark, like you're painting hot chocolate sauce on your lips, like a Hershey's chocolate sauce. It looks like you paint that and then you peel it off and you have this gorgeous lip stain that lasts all day. But, what she's using is not just her expertise as a beauty influencer and how well she knows products, but doing something different. And
totally.
It's working for her.
Yeah. You know what's funny though? I actually don't think she invented that sort of like lip peel, because I feel like that technology has been around for a while. Although in sort of like dated cosmetic brands, I've seen it before. And what I think she's done very well is she's added this kind of cool factor to it, because it's such a visual component, right? Like the awe of like, ugh, that looks atrocious on you right now. And then you peel and you're like, ooh, the beautiful reveal. That's innovative to me.
Yeah, I love that. And I mean, it's great for marketing. Like you see it on TikTok, like whenever I'm swiping and then I just see, I'm like, oh my God, like what is she doing with it? I'm like, oh, it's a Seichu lip liner.
Right.
Yeah. So now that we went over some of our favorite celebrity brands, let's just take a step back and break down the whole celebrity brand movement. Because really when I think about what started it, like the predecessors were the original makeup companies and brands themselves, these entities, conglomerates, and they would just hire celebrities to come in and just be literally the cover girl. The cover girl started in the 60s, I believe.
That's incredible.
Right? And they would just find the it girl of the season, give her her own lipstick, and she would just be the model for that campaign. But now what we're seeing is celebrities, they're not the cover girl anymore. They are CoverGirl. They are the company. And at first they were using celebrities. These makeup companies were using celebrities. And then they started using influencers. And companies like Morphe did this so well. They were the company of the 2010s. And they would bring in influencers to do partnerships with because they were seeing how big the influencer space were getting and they were capitalizing on that. Do you remember the James Charles palette?
Oh my gosh, I totally remember those. He's so funny.
He's amazing. And also the Jaclyn Hill palettes.
Yes.
Those were it back in the day. So you really saw all of these companies just giving celebrities and influencers the chance to kind of partner with them, be on a campaign with them for a limited amount of time. And then really what they're doing is just taking the power back a little bit and saying, why am I going to sell your lipstick when I can sell my own?
Exactly. Instead of being a percentage, why don't I own all of it?
Right? The whole piece.
Exactly. Okay, so then that is a good segue into sort of like the categories, right, of a celebrity / celebrity brand. And I think we're going to break this down into 3 major buckets. So you can think of it as celebrities like OG actresses, musicians, etc. Influencers, think TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and then industry professionals. So that's like the Anastasia Soares out there, the Charlotte Tilbury, the JVNs, Patrick Ta,
Makeup by Mario.
Exactly, makeup by Mario. So makeup artists, estheticians, hairstylists, people who have real trade knowledge.
Right. And I think a lot of times, like these kind of individuals, it's not like they do have the most experience and work with the most products and get their hands on it, but also they don't really want to be celebrities in the beginning, right? They want to be makeup artists. They want to be estheticians. And they kind of gain the celebrity and cult following and as they get larger, right? So like I think about any of the people that you just mentioned, like Patrick Ta was working behind the scenes for the longest time before he stepped out and produced his own line. And I remember he was just so famous because he would see these pictures of like Gigi Hadid, Bella Hadid, and you would see that photo and be like, that's a Patrick Ta look.
Clearly, yeah. And I think also because they're working with all these celebrities are encouraging them to go out there and market something on their own because they love their look. They love their work. And they're saying, well, why aren't you developing a line? Like, if I love it so much, can you imagine what other people are going to think?
Right. And they also know skin and hair the best.
Yes.
When it really boils down to it. Think about how many people they get in their chair on like a daily basis for decades or however long they're in the industry for. Like they've seen it all. So they know what to look for when they're formulating products.
100%. And that's the thing. Like, it really comes down to trust. Like, when I'm going to find a new hairdresser, I hate to say it, but like, I'm not going to find or hire someone who has only just started cutting people's hair like a month ago. You want someone who has had experience and knows how to deal with like your hair type or your skin type or whatever, your features on your face for makeup. Having that kind of expertise is so important. And so that's how they build trust with the consumer.
Right. And then so when it kind of comes down to trust and the 3 buckets that you mentioned, how would you rank each of these buckets? Obviously, like the industry professional is the first, but
Number
if you
1.
had to kind of rate celebrity versus influencer.
Ooh, yeah. Okay, I think that's tough. But if I really had to figure that out, I would say influencer is number 2. Because if you think about it, they're essentially reviewing products all the time. But the catch, and this is a double-edged sword, they do reviews, but they're also frequently paid for the review. So then you have to wonder as the consumer, is this their real opinion or is this something that they're being assuaged to do?
Right. And that's why I think they're trying to take less deals, but higher paying deals nowadays, because you can't really, you can't love 15 different mascaras. I mean, you can, but you can, but it doesn't make as much sense to just be supporting or just do a paid SponCon post for every single product that you use. You have to be a little bit pickier nowadays.
100%. Yeah. And so influencers, number 2, I would say celebrity. And now this is, I know, kind of a blanket, but for the case of this discussion, I would say celebrity is probably number 3 because let's face it, if it's a actor or a musician and they launch let's say a skincare line or a makeup line, you have to question how much knowledge do they actually have, unless they're bringing in the right partners and they're really trying to understand formulation and distribution and all those major factors. There is still a little bit of distrust. And I think that also ties into the fact that back in the day, I feel like celebrities just were like launching, white labeling, license deals left and right.
Anything they could get their hands on.
Yes. And my favorite, and this is no flack to her because I think she's fantastic, Jessica Simpson. Like, perfume, shoes, bags, clothes, everything.
I mean, she did it, but she did it well.
Yes.
She is worth so much money.
Well, that's actually a sad story because at one point, so the private equity company that owned her or had the majority stake in her mine, they essentially like outbought her and her mom. And then she didn't really understand the terms of the deal. So she actually was on the wrong end of that transaction.
No way.
But then I think this was a couple years ago, and I need to be fact checked on this, but she ended up going back and repurchasing those shares. And she kind of took ownership over basically a screwed deal. And now like she's in a good place. But I thought that was really interesting.
That is fascinating. I just like would hear in the news like, oh, Jessica Simpson's worth $1 billion. But I guess it was Jessica Simpson,
The brand. Yes.
not her herself.
Exactly.
Got it.
But again, I feel like celebs are way more savvy now about stuff like this. And that leads to obviously Kim Kardashian. She's the most savvy businesswoman / celebrity, right? And influencer.
Yeah, she really does it all.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about kind of the breakdown. We talked about the ones we love. Let's talk about some flops.
Whew, okay, let's do flops.
Yes.
And I think I want to like start it off with a YouTube influencer who is obviously one of my favorites. I have been watching her videos forever. And now I want to caveat this by saying this flop is not a flop because of the brand. It's more so from outside forces. And this is going to be Tati Beauty.
Ooh.
Right? I know. It's like, it pains me. I feel for her a lot with the whole story.
Yeah.
So, you know, with Tati, she has been a makeup YouTuber for God knows how long, but to me, like forever. And she initially launched her supplements brand. And after doing the supplements brand, obviously, you know, she's reviewing makeup all the time. She wanted to be a makeup artist and then started doing makeup videos on her own, like in her tiny apartment in Los Angeles, and then obviously blew up over time. Her total goal and like all of her YouTube channel stuff was to launch a makeup brand. And she finally did that. And it was actually really successful. Like she launched with this one palette.
I remember.
It was a beautiful sort of like neutrals palette with some shimmer and some like matte colors and some smoky looks. It was really beautiful. And she was poised to do quite well until the lawsuit came around. And basically her business partner in Tati Beauty was very litigious and came after her and basically said, hey, our deal said that any business that you create, I'm 50% owner of. And she goes, no. We signed this deal on this brand, one brand, not every single brand. And so that was a lawsuit that I think just wrapped up, I believe, this year.
Okay.
But basically, I mean, lawsuits are really expensive. Attorneys are so expensive. And she had to close Tati Beauty because of this lawsuit.
That is terrible. And I mean, I feel like along the way, she would always just kind of get wrapped up in like influencer drama.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, I know that she was always on the older side compared to the rest of the influencer community, but it's like, she was kind of like the mom or like the cool aunt, right? Of like all of these other influencers. And like, I feel like she just had like hit after hit after hit.
Yes. I mean,
That's
honestly,
rough.
it's so rough.
That's
but
rough.
she's kept her head up and she's still out there doing her thing.
Okay. So we have that flop. And I have another flop, but it's kind of a group of flops. So let's break it down. So when I think about celebrity companies that really had a lot of potential, a couple that came to mind were the Rose Inc. by Rosie Huntington-Whiteley.
Yep.
And then another one was the JVN hair brand by Jonathan Van Ness.
Yes.
And I really feel like these two, when we went and we're talking about like the celebrity or influencer industry professional, like these guys checked all the right boxes, right? Like Rosie Huntington-Whiteley was not just a supermodel, but also an influencer, really positioning herself as a beauty expert. And Jonathan Van Ness is a career hairstylist. And so I think that they had a lot of, like they had the best positioning for trust within the beauty community to create good products. And from my understanding, the products did perform and they performed well. And then kind of they got hit by a meteor, which was their parent company, just kind of exploding. And it led to this kind of like massacre, domino effect of like all of the kind of companies that they own kind of falling down one after another. But talk about Amorous.
Yes. So Amorous is the parent company that owned both Rosie and JVN. And basically in 2023, they hit some major liquidity constraints. And I mean, one, there were a couple of strategic deals that they were aiming to close in 2023 that just busted and didn't go through. Then revenue for basically all the brands that they owned were declining. And this led them to ultimately filing for bankruptcy, Chapter 11. And they had to sell off not only JVN and Rosie, but also Biossance.
That one broke my heart.
I know, me too.
That one was so good.
I felt really bad. But plus side, JVN changed new parent company. They're doing okay now. They're back up floating. When we saw JVN at BeautyCon too, right? So that's good. Rosie, on the other hand, she decided, I'm going to cut ties and completely remove myself from the situation. She has really disassociated herself from the brand and completely just left it in the dust.
I mean, she's got a lot of other things to focus on.
Oh, yeah.
And you can't blame her, right? I'm sure she put all of her heart and soul into that company, and to get back and do it again, I can understand why.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal.
Yeah. So those are a couple examples of like outside forces, right? They had no control over what was going on. But then there are flops where I kind of think that maybe it was the celebrity or the influencer that let it flop.
Hot take.
Hot take. Definitely. So, I mean, the first one that comes to mind is the item by Addison Rae.
Ooh, okay. Yeah.
So, I mean, she was like the hottest thing on TikTok back in the day. Like really, like how many followers did she have? How many tens of millions? It was insane. And I understand that with that kind of following, you're like, oh, let's keep the momentum going. Let's keep the dollars rolling in. Let's launch a beauty company. But I remember when it was in store, and then it just kind of vanished.
Yes. And this is the thing where we were talking about before. The way you have to leverage a celebrity brand is you need to identify one of a few things. Either it's a need, or it's you have innovation, right? Or you have like just something that makes you different. And the problem here with Item was, sure, Addison Rae, super cute girl, you know, known for her little dancing videos and whatnot on TikTok, but what's the expertise here? Or like what makes her different? And I couldn't identify that with the brand.
I couldn't identify it. And then also it's just, she would do makeup tutorials, but she just didn't have that kind of like expertise that like Sarah Chung had with with Sage Beauty, right?
Or you also don't need expertise. You need pizzazz or something, like something that draws people in. And I just felt like it landed a little flat with her.
I think she just cranked it out and then just like let it go and just didn't follow up with it enough to really make it known. I mean, a miss.
Yeah.
It's a miss.
Totally.
And another miss was JLo Beauty.
This is a fun one for me. Yeah, I feel like with JLo, I think she was really trying to capitalize on this momentum that she was having where she was back in the limelight. And not to trivialize any of her success, because I think she's awesome and a go-getter and obviously like OG pop star. But she was at this point where, okay, so she was about to launch her upcoming world tour. She had just gotten back with, what's his face?
A-Rod.
A-Rod.
Yes.
And then A-Rod and her didn't work out. And then she came back with Ben. Her and Ben joined back together. So she was in the tabloids a lot.
Oh, and you can't forget that movie she was making. Do you remember that? The musical sci-fi saga about her life that she was like starring and directing in?
Wait, what? Wait, I literally don't know what you're talking about. Wait,
yes.
Sci-fi?
Yes, it was like a sci-fi movie of her fighting robots in space, but it was supposed to be the story about her love life and herself as a person. It's a thing.
Wait, did it ever come out?
It did. But yeah, I mean, she was having a rough time when she was launching JLo Beauty. I mean, because she kind of thought she was working on so many projects that it was gonna hit.
It was a momentum play for her, she thought.
But guess what? She had to cancel her tour.
Yes.
She didn't sell any tickets. Her movie, I mean, you didn't even hear about it.
I had no freaking clue.
And then the JLo Beauty, it was in Sephora, and then
one day it was gone.
One day it was gone.
So you know what's funny? I actually sampled their products before. I was given a bunch of samples through kind of like a work thing. And I remember trying the product and being like, okay, so the packaging is very shiny and shimmery. It fits the JLo vibe. Cool. There was this one body cream she had. This is just like a random funny story, maybe TMI, but I didn't really read the bottle. And I was like, oh, I'm running out of body lotion. Let me use this after I get out of the shower. And so when I lotion myself after I shower, I go everywhere.
Yes.
Like all the its and bits and everything.
As you should.
Right? Exactly. Okay. So I'm applying this lotion everywhere. And I usually start kind of like from my legs and go all the way up, right? And I'm applying it kind of like, you know, around like the bum and all those areas. And then I kind of go up to my tummy and like kind of like my chest and arms. And then I feel this burning sensation. I was like, oh shit, this is not feel. What is happening? And I was freaking out. I look at the tin or the container, and I see in small print it's peppercorn. There's peppercorns in this cream, and I had just put peppercorns in between, like, my stuff down there, and it was
should not go.
Yeah, and I think it was meant to be kind of like I don't understand the whole point of it.
I think so. I've seen people use it in kind of like a firming cream.
Oh,
right?
that's what it was. Yes, firming. It was for a firming sensation. Obviously, that's on me for not reading that there were peppercorns in it, but I was like, oh, this is spicy.
Okay. So
and not in a good way.
Not the best first experience with the product.
Totally. But then the other thing, and I think we talked about this a little bit before, is this like authenticity play, right? And I love J-Lo. I love her for being the diva that she is, but let's be real. She kept telling everyone, I've never had any sort of work done before, which, okay, sure, maybe she hasn't. But then don't tell us this story about you using olive oil since you were a child, and that has been your beauty secret. Like, they pulled that out of thin air.
When I heard her say that, it was just like such an eye roll, right? Because I know, like, she's one of the hardest working women in Hollywood, right? She has every single kind of beauty treatment service at her fingertips. And there's all these stories about her being a total diva, right?
Oh,
like, she's not dipping herself in olive oil, right? Like, I've heard stories that she uses a La Mer eye cream as a foot cream, right?
Oh my God.
She's not dipping herself in olive oil. So like, BFFR J-Lo.
Yeah, I know.
Be for real.
Yeah. So let's go to another really big celebrity, Kim Kardashian.
Yes. Okay. I mean, first of all, what hasn't this woman done in terms of starting businesses or
literally
brand
everything?
She's done everything, right? But she did kind of have a flop of her own when it came to the beauty space. I mean, she launched KKW Beauty as well as Skin with 2 Ks.
Yep, of course.
For Kim Kardashian. But neither of them really took off, I think, in the way that she wanted to. And she put her heart and soul into them for sure. They were very much her brand, creating products that she would use or that, would help people achieve the Kim Kardashian effect. And I did try her lip liner way back in the day, and it wasn't bad for sure. But I think the reason why she's kind of moving away from them is because there's like literally a billion reasons why. And that's because of Skims.
Totally. I mean, Skims is so successful. And also her going into kind of more of a private equity space. She launched sort of a strategic partnership with one of the PE partners that is invested in Skims.
Yes. And they're doing a lot of work in the direct-to-consumer space, right? Like consumer product goods. And she's just going for it. I think one of the ones that she was doing was like Beyond Meat or...
Oh, she did?
Yeah. Was it Beyond Meat or the other vegan company? Either way, I mean... At the time, she was vegan. I don't know if she still is now, but I mean, I would take investment from a Kim Kardashian, right?
100%.
I mean, she's got the money and she'll market you and she's, so well connected.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So she's put all her eggs into the Skims basket.
I mean, as she should. Back in the day, like they've done everything. They started off with a clothing store. They even were having their own credit card at one point. Or Kardashian credit card. Yeah.
That's so funny.
I know. So they really tried it all. And I think it's amazing how she's finding things that really fit her niche in terms of like what she wants to do, right? Like Skims is excellent.
Oh my God, it fits her brand so much. It's just embracing her body. It's her image. And so maybe the face and the, makeup stuff didn't really land, but her look, her physical look, just like the silhouette is totally working.
Oh, 100%. 100%. And then let's do the last one that we have.
Oh yeah.
So this one to me is kind of perplexing because I kind of think it should be bigger than what it is. I don't know if I would call it a flop, but it's Rem Beauty by Ariana Grande.
Yeah, I wouldn't say necessarily a flop, but more of like a pitter patter into the oblivion.
Oh my God.
Right? Well, because she launched, and it's Ariana Grande. Like, clearly she's a huge celeb. Everyone loves her. She's known for her looks, the cat eye winged liner. Like, it's a very iconic sort of beauty look. So all the stars should have aligned and she should have been a success, but
right. And she was also pitching it and like constantly doing it. It wasn't like she was doing what Addison Rae did, was like throw it at us and then go do her own thing. I felt like Ariana was constantly trying to promote her business and really work for it, making tutorials, all of these things. And even now, like she's still trying, like they're doing a Wicked collaboration.
Right, exactly. And here's the thing is like, it's not like she's not in like the public sphere, right? Like she's literally pushing out new films, new albums, new music. And for some reason, this makeup brand is just not landing.
I mean, it's still an Ulta. And when I was looking at it, it looks like they're going to be doing about $35 million in revenue, which is like nothing to roll your eyes at.
Totally.
But
Compared to Fenty,
Fenty.
oh my God, the projections for Fenty, 2024
Insane.
revenue projections, listen to this, $700 million. And that's on the low end too.
Yeah, that's like the conservative projection.
Right.
I think it was all the way upwards of like $1 billion, but it's wild. So like, yes, it is successful. $35 million is a ton of money. Don't get me wrong. But when you look at a brand like a celebrity brand like Rihanna and Fenty,
Yeah.
big difference.
Totally. She hit it out of the park. And this one is, like I said, pitter patter into oblivion.
We'll see. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed for her. From there, let's jump into some recent celebrity brand launches from 2023, 2024. So recent, past couple years ones.
Sure. I mean, I feel like there aren't as many as there were a couple years ago where like every single celebrity felt like they almost had to make a brand.
Yeah.
But there have been some this year. And we actually got to go to the announcement of one. Yes. And that was for the Lily Reinhart. She's launching a new company called Personal Day. And she announced it at BeautyCon. And we were like front row for that one. That was a good one.
It was really good.
But basically, she is making a skincare line for acne, right? And for her entire career, she's been really open about her skin and her passion for beauty. And in some ways, I feel like she's kind of like she's been positioning herself for this, right?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, you have some hesitancy there.
Okay. I mean, I think she's great. She's really beautiful, but she said something during her.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. So she said something that I just could not get out of my head and just totally made me not trust her as a skincare founder. And she admitted to using steroids on her face to help her with sensitivity. And that to me is the biggest no-no you could possibly do.
Yes. I mean, literally, I'm just like, just for
It
everyone
makes
to
me
know.
shudder.
Yes. Like not only just shudder, but it makes me want to pull my hair out. This is coming from two estheticians. Steroids are a no freaking no on your face.
I mean, you cannot pay me.
Same.
You cannot pay me to do this. And the reason why is that there's a condition called topical steroid withdrawal. And it's actually way more common than it seems to be, right? My brother, he works in pharmaceuticals and he tells me all the time because he knows, and everyone in my family knows, that I get really bad eczema. And so many doctors, even my doctor at UCLA told me to try putting some, steroid ointment on it. But I just know better because when you get topical steroid withdrawal, all that happens is like basically your entire body sheds and it's miserable and it's painful and it's raw. And I'm not talking about a little bit of shedding. I'm talking about flakes and flakes of skin. Like I would sit up from this chair and it would just be covered in dead skin cells.
Gosh.
And it's really, really bad. I don't know if you know this also, and very serious, like trigger warning here. But if you Google topical steroid withdrawal, the first thing that comes up is a suicide prevention hotline number.
Are you serious?
It is that bad because when you see images of people going through this, it's not just unpleasant to look at, but it is so painful. Your skin is peeling so much, you cannot take a shower.
Oh my God.
People say they cannot sleep. They say that it happens on the inside of their mouth, so they cannot eat. I've heard people say it broke up their marriage because they cannot touch their wives and they feel like a monster. So that, they leave their wives and just become a hermit. And it can also take years to get over. But I know this is a really long tangent, but I am very passionate about topical steroid withdrawal.
As you should.
And when I heard her say that, I put steroids on my face, they come from my doctor, I'm just like, no way in hell would I support you.
Right. No, I actually totally agree with that. So I come from another perspective, not nearly as intense as that one, although I think that's such a good thing to highlight. Like, I feel like nobody really knows about this. No one talks about this stuff.
No.
Yeah. But my other thing is I feel, and look, I love my derm and I trust doctors. This is not like a thing against doctors, but I do believe in this day and age, derms in particular, they overprescribe steroids / they overprescribe everything. And I get it. They're running a practice. They have like so many patients they need to see, and they have maybe like 10 minutes tops with you. So you're talking about whatever your skin condition is. And then they're just thinking in their head, okay, what script can I write to get this person in and out? And unfortunately, a lot of the times it's a topical steroid because it's the easiest thing to basically see a result right away,
right,
without realizing there are substantial long-term effects there.
And that's the thing, is that it does work.
Yeah.
100%. It'll clear up your eczema. You'll stop itching, but it's the withdrawal. So when you stop using it is when those conditions start flaring up. And when it starts, it does not stop. And there is no medication you can take, nothing you can do for it. It is really, it's insane. I've seen it get so bad where people will get it on like their eyebrows and their scalp because it's your whole body, right?
Yeah.
But your skin is flaking off so much, you lose your hair, because it's just flaking so much that your hair cannot hold in place, right?
Yeah.
So, and there's, I don't want to get too graphic, but you're just like a red, flaky mess with no hair.
Yeah. I can literally picture it in my head.
Yeah, it's really, really terrible. So when I heard that from her mouth, I'm just like, I think I might pass on this one.
Yeah, I totally get that. The thing is, I do think she's marketing to the right audience. Like, she's a young woman herself who has literally grown up in like the public sphere, going through the period of terrible acne, right? So I think probably her fans are going to connect with it. I'm really curious to see how this does.
Me too. And like another thing, and I feel like it sounds like I'm just like shitting on her, but I'm really not. But another thing that she mentioned during her session was that she uses Accutane.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
And I'm like, if you're selling acne products, but you're actually using the most heavy duty kind of prescribed medication you could take for acne, like, are your products actually doing the work, or is it Accutane?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's, we'll see. I don't know. It's not made for me, so it's not really my demographic.
We'll see. Exactly. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah.
Okay. But other upcoming brands or like recently launched brands, let's see. I know a couple of male celebrities have been getting into it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I think I know which ones you're talking about. Like The Rock. Yeah. Tattoo, is it Tattoo Care? Tattoo Aftercare. I think that's what his brand is.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. I don't have tattoos.
I do.
Yes, I know you do. Yeah. What are your thoughts on Tattoo Care? Is that something you do?
You know, what's funny is when I think of Tattoo Aftercare, I think of like immediately after you get a tattoo. And I haven't gotten a tattoo in a very long time. This was kind of like my early 20s, like spree of, ooh, this is fun. Why not? And, but like immediately after, you're supposed to take good care of your tattoo because it's essentially a wound, right? It's scarring, and you don't want it to create a scab because if it scabs, then, and you pick off that scab, you're actually losing the pigment. So all that hard work the tattoo artist put in, you're just ripping off.
Right.
So when I think of Tattoo Care, I think of it mostly in that sense of like trying to keep the area moist. And I was always told to use like an Aquaphor or something. And it's the same thing with like just scars and scabs on your skin in general, right, to prevent scarring. But in terms of my day-to-day for Tattoo Care, like all I think about honestly is just moisturizing and putting on sunscreen.
Right.
And that's about it.
Okay.
But again, I have small tattoos and The Rock got big ones. Yeah. Like I don't have a sleeve, so.
I mean, I've heard of some things when it comes to tattoos, like wanting to like preserve the color of them, or, you know, taking care of the skin to make sure your tattoo stays looking like nice and crisp, but it's different. It's innovative, right?
Yes.
Like I haven't heard of this or seen this before. And there are so many people with tattoos.
So many people. And it makes sense for him. Like this is a cool like guy thing, you know? It's very on brand for him. Like Tattoo Care, The Rock, makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. And other male lines, I know that John Legend came out with one.
Oh, yeah.
Called Love One. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, it's a funny name.
I mean, I'm not too sure about anything about, I just don't know that much about the brand, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't really listen to John Legend that much, / I don't like, I mean, obviously I know of him pop culture wise and like his wife, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see how that goes.
We'll see. We'll see. And a couple other ones that come to mind. Pam Anderson.
Oh, Pam. Yeah, she's like totally in the news, like with that documentary and everything.
It was so good.
It was really good. Yeah.
Yeah. And I kind of think it makes sense for her, right? Like she is doing a skincare line, Sunrise.
Yes.
And lately, like her main thing is that she has stopped wearing makeup. Period. Like even on red carpets, celebrity events, in her own documentary. And she used to be known for being like the bombshell. Bombshell. So when she's just abandoning makeup and just embracing the side of her, like that kind of authenticity, maybe it'll happen. I mean, these are all predictions here, right?
Yeah. No, and also I think is interesting is also like she didn't necessarily found this brand. She actually bought into it and then became a co-founder. And it's kind of like what Chriselle Lim did with Fleur, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's an interesting method.
And I mean, it's been going, from what I see, pretty well for Chriselle. Like, no one really knew about Fleur prior. And then not only, like, yes, she's kind of the face of the brand, but, you know, when you look at the brand's marketing, it's not just like Chriselle. Like, they're really making it into something of its own. And they've had some really viral hits in terms of product. And, you know, we'll see how that one goes too.
Yeah.
I haven't bought it though, so I don't know actually what they smell like.
I haven't either, but fragrance has been such a big thing in the beauty industry in this past year or two. Like there are so many big brands that have come to market. And also low key, I'm hearing in the sphere that there are some sales in the process too, especially in this space.
Okay. I mean, I kind of feel like that's what a lot of these founders want.
Oh,
right?
that's their exit. Yeah.
Yeah.
They want that big ticket exit.
Definitely.
Okay, so let's take a little detour and go into some random ass celebrity brands.
I love this.
Yeah.
And the first one that comes to mind, and it's just kind of like so random, it's just random, but Travis Barker's selling supplements. What the hell?
I don't know. But okay, so it's random, but also I'm wondering if maybe he got some inspo from his wife.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Queen of Poosh.
Yeah. Poosh.
That
Name every time.
Yeah, but I mean, for me, it's just like, he's like this bad boy rocker drummer guy. And I know he like is a soft side, great dad, family man, but like supplements, I don't know. We'll see. I feel like, you know, it does make a lot of sense. Like his wife has the Lemmy line that she has is doing well.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like a his and her supplement, right? And I feel like the women that buy Lemmy are going to buy it for their man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also, I'll take here, but the supplement industry is not really regulated, so it's really easy to get into. And
especially the gummies.
oh God, don't even get me started on gummies. But it's just like, it's one of those things where, okay, sure, it's great to empower the consumer and let them make choices on their personal health care. But also I feel like it's a space that easily gets manipulated and people are told things about certain supplements that are quote unquote good for them that may have zero efficacy and or may be harmful. So that's just like,
no, it's 100%. And like, I am guilty of this because I start my morning with a handful of gummy vitamins.
Wait, what do you take?
So I take the vitamin C gummies from Costco.
Okay, yeah.
I take the Digestive Advantage probiotic gummy bears. And then I take this green supplement called 8 Greens. And I literally start my day with a handful of candy.
Wait.
And, I don't care. It makes me really happy.
Aw, wait, Julie, I love that. That's cute.
Yeah, but like, I know it's candy.
Okay, so is this your way of being like, oh, I'm doing something good for myself, but also treating myself?
It's definitely a treat yourself.
Okay.
Like, I know, like I take other, like I take multivitamins too.
Yeah, okay,
Right.
fair.
And like, I'm not eating them like candy, but you know, I eat, it's like a solid handful of gummy supplements every morning.
Oh my gosh.
And I love it.
Yeah, I love that for you. Slash, it's okay. Like when I was a kid, I remember when my mom first bought like gummy vitamins because they were like just becoming a thing. I went ham with them. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna treat this like candy. And then I got sick.
I know, right? No, I keep hearing stories about like parents with their melatonin kids.
Oh, that's
scary. That one's actually scary. Like I'm at least eating like the recommended dosage of like, who knows? But you know, I don't know if it's making me feel good, but it makes me happy.
And that's all we need in life.
Yes.
Right? We only live once.
Okay, so back to random ass celebrity brands.
I've got one. Okay, Cheryl Hines. So if you don't know who she is, she's probably best known as the wife of Larry David on Curb Your Enthusiasm.
So funny.
So funny. And also, wait, I only realized this probably, I was like this years old when I learned that she is the wife of RFK Jr.
I know. They've been married for
10 years.
Yeah, a while.
But I just learned this. Like crazy, right?
I guess she like, I don't know if she keeps it under wraps or
She does. So from what I've heard is that Larry David is good friends with RFK and he's the one who actually introed them.
Okay.
Yeah. And so like RFK used to be on set all the time and then like Cheryl and him kind of like hit it off and then they started dating. And yeah.
I mean, she married a Kennedy. I know there's a lot of them.
There's many. There's many. And I went on a rabbit hole the other day of just like reading about all the, like dark drama of that family. It's so sad, truly.
There's a lot of tragedy.
A lot of tragedy. Another story, another time. But okay, so she launched let's call it like a beauty and skincare line with her daughter. And it's called Hines and Young, which, what do you think of that name?
Well, I mean, her daughter has the last name of her father, which is Young.
Yep.
So I get it, Hines and Young.
Okay, I'll be the hot take one. I think it's a shitty name. I just don't, it doesn't roll off the tongue. And I don't know.
Hines and Young.
It makes me think of like a major food brand, like
Heinz ketchup.
Yeah. It's not giving me skincare vibes. It's giving me like old school food.
I mean, have you seen their packaging?
It's not cute.
I mean, some of the products, I know that like chuggy millennial decor sells, right?
Yeah.
I get it, but like some of the products, it'll be like cat mom meow, like on the candle lid.
Yeah.
Or sorry, not candle lid, but like, product lid or
Right,
whatever.
yeah.
Or like,
They sell candles too, though.
Okay, okay, that's why. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's what I saw. But I don't know if the branding's there.
That's the thing. And I feel like
what are they doing?
right. It's not very clear like what they're trying or who they're trying to attract. Now, I don't want to just like hate on it all day long. I will say that Cheryl went to beauty school and I believe she's either an esthetician or a cosmetologist. I forgot which one she is. But she has the background here. And so I wish that she could leverage this a little bit more. And I think from an interview I read, she relies on her daughter pretty heavily on terms of the marketing piece. And I think her daughter's like 19, so she's pretty young. I feel like perhaps if they were to hire a little bit more of like a developed team, they could be something bigger.
I mean, or maybe they're just having fun.
That's the thing. I actually think that's what it is.
They could just be having fun. Like, honestly, like two, like mom and daughter selling candles. Like, I get that appeal as well.
Yeah. It's like candles, body creams.
Yeah.
Easy peasy things. But one other thing I want to highlight is that, okay, so RFK announced his presidential bid in 2023. I think it was April. And then she launched Hines and Young a month later. So I wonder.
What timing.
Yeah, exactly. Just a month apart. And yeah, so I think that's interesting.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, when it comes to celebrities making moves like that and their brands, and I guess the last kind of like random celebrity brand that comes out is Meghan Markle.
Oh.
Because I don't know if you remember this. It was like a couple years ago. And I know she's had like multiple trademarking issues. Yes. But when she first got married to Prince Harry.
Yeah.
When she first got married to Prince Harry and then they left the royal family, the first thing that they went to do when they moved to the States was go in and trademark every single thing under the name Sussex Royal House.
Yes.
And if you look at the list, it was like hundreds of products. Sussex Royal House Jam, skincare, lotion,
linens,
yeah, children's wear, winter boots, like any single thing you could think of. She was like kind of ready to go and run with this brand, right? And like, I guess that's what I mean when I say random, because anything you could possibly think was in this list.
Yeah.
But they actually got a cease and desist.
Yep, from the royal family themselves. They were not happy.
They were not. They're like, you're going to leave my family and then take the name.
And then try to capitalize on this? Like, what the heck?
Children's shoes or whatever.
Oh, it's kind of hilarious, honestly.
I mean, she keeps trying and...
Yeah. Cash grab.
Cash grab for sure.
Gotta do what you gotta do, girl.
All right, Salsa.
Yeah.
So we're coming to the final segment. We went through big celebrity brands, a history of celebrity brands, bad celebrity brands, random celebrity brands. Let's consult our crystal ball here and talk about predictions of celebrities we think should make brands.
Ooh, I like this one.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna kick this off. So we talked a little bit about her in our last episode, but Sabrina Carpenter and blush.
She must.
Oh, 100%. She is the face of blush.
Yes.
I mean, I think about all the blush blindness stuff. That's literally every time I see her anywhere in a magazine, on IG, whatever, like that's her look.
And I think, what if she did like a blush product that is supposed to be like sweat proof, transfer proof, kiss proof, like she's all like smoochy, kind of sexy.
That's cute.
But yeah, because like she's on stage sweating it out, dancing her, like, come on.
Yeah. Okay, we will take a 1% royalty fee on this, Sabrina. So good ideas. Yeah, call us. We'll help you.
Okay, so another celebrity prediction. I have one. I love Alex Earl.
Ooh, okay.
I don't have anything in common with Alex Earl. I am a decade older than her, and I'm not some hot blonde from Miami, but she is hilarious and she's a really hard worker, right? I truly believe that. Like, party girl vibes aside, like her energy really, like, I think she'd be a good businesswoman. But like Lily Reinhart, she also struggles with acne and is really open about it. And I know that she has been on Accutane as well, but I still think she should come out with some acne line products.
Okay, yeah.
Like, I just feel like it fits her brand. And she talks about being on Accutane, getting off of Accutane, thinking about getting back on Accutane. Like, she's really just transparent with the entire journey. And I think that she should definitely do something in beauty. That would definitely make sense from her brand. And I think acne could be a lean for her.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And then I guess who else? Maybe on the topic of hot blondes,
Yeah.
Sydney Sweeney.
Oh, she's everywhere right now.
Right?
Yeah.
And, I know she's like a Laneige ambassador, but I think, again, like Alex, like she'd be a really, really good businesswoman. Like, she's so freaking smart. Like, she literally spends her free time fixing up and refurbishing old cars. Like, what?
Yeah, that's so cool.
Like, she literally like gets underneath the hood and fixes up these cars. So I just think that she's a smart girl. And I think that a skincare line would also make sense for her. Cause again, she's like open about it, transparent about it. But I don't know, Sasa, if any of these girls, like, I know I'm like hyping them up now, but if they go on stage and say that they put steroids on their face,
We're done. We're over it. Yeah. For Sydney also, if not a skincare line, I mean, her being the face of Laneige, also just being like some sort of like soft, glowy, natural, no makeup sort of a look. I feel like that could also be her vibe too. Whenever that Laneige contract's up, she can think about that next,
definitely.
Yeah. Okay. So next one I want to talk about this is someone who I love, Sweetie.
Oh my God.
She's so cute. And speaking of smart girls, she's really smart too. She went to USC, right?
She did go to USC. I mean, she's like a Los Angeles girl through and through.
100%. True Angelino. I mean, also just her family is so interesting. Her mom being like an OG video vixen, I love. Like, it's so cute.
Yes.
And her dad, like, it's like the whole thing. The whole package is cute. But anyway, so Sweetie is known for her white nail polish on her toes. Even says it in that song Icy, right? It's white toes and the Tory flip-flops. Like,
yes,
that's her look.
Okay.
And so she was just on Call Her Daddy and she did an interview and she was talking about how that is part of her look. Every time she goes and gets her nails done, which she also said she does like custom nails that can take 10 hours long. Whew. And I was like, I don't know what you do for 10 hours. But she says she always, always, always does white nail polish on her toes.
I feel like if you're a celebrity trying to make a brand, it has to be authentic, and that's her.
Yeah.
White toe. So are you saying toenail polish?
Well, just nail polish. I feel like that works for her. She's always got like crazy glammed up nails.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, that's literally a line in her song.
And she owns that song, so she can use it in all the ads.
Exactly. Icy nails, Yeah. So that's my take.
Okay. Well, we'll see which ones come through. I feel like one of these is gonna land.
Yeah. One, at least.
At least.
Yeah.
And we get the 1%.
Exactly. The trailer. We're like partial clairvoyant. We'll come back in a year's time and be like, oh, damn, we hit it.
We have receipts.
Yes. Yeah.
That was such a fun episode. Love talking about celebrity brands. But thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
And please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, show us some love in those reviews, and be sure to share this podcast with someone who needs a glow up.
Definitely. And let's be friends, for real. You can follow us on Instagram as well as TikTok at GlowJob Podcast. And you can follow Sasa at Sasa New Skin, as well as myself, Julia, at SkinSift.
And be sure to DM us your burning questions, and we will see you next week, guys. Thanks so much.